What's up everybody? Thanks for checking out this video today. I had to make this video because I've been trying to blog this kind of thought out for like the last 3 months, and I keep getting like partway through the blog and then I just have to give up on it. I have about 7 drafts in my Medium account ready to post this. I thought it'd be easier just to get it out of my head on video, and so that's why I want to share it with you today. This video is all about how do you get that job? How, if you're nervous for an interview, what should you be thinking about for responses, and how can you set yourself apart from all the other candidates when you're trying to get the job? Before I talk about how to do this, some of the techniques and some of the ideas I want to talk to you about, I have to explain why this might be so effective. Before I started working at the job I'm at now, which is a speaker and trainer at Reality Based Leadership, I applied at about 3 or 4 places for a job. And when I went in and I kind of used these responses that I'm gonna talk about later, they immediately like promoted me kind of to another job that was higher in the organization because they thought that like the responses were good enough and my kind of attitude or mindset was good enough to be in those positions. So it was a super interesting thing, and that was like the first trigger that made me think that I should share this with people. Secondly, I actually gave this advice to my cousin who was going for a big job opportunity in Washington D.C. And I was like, what can I give him for advice for this interview to set him apart? And I started thinking about what I speak on and train on here at Reality Based Leadership, and it all clicked that this would actually be kind of the best responses for him to use. So Reality Based Leadership, where I work at now, why are these responses related to Reality Based Leadership? With Reality Based Leadership, what we do is we work with organizations to help them ditch the drama from their teams or help employees ditch the drama. And there's this fascinating thing that I've learned in the last couple years as I've spoke with organizations. I've done a ton of planning calls and I've listened in on a ton of planning calls. What we found is this idea that there are no news stories. And what I mean by that is that everyone we talk to says, but you have no idea, like we have all of this drama going on and it's different than that drama. And what our company's all about is we've really narrowed down kind of about 4 or 5 places where drama actually manifests, and it is like the biggest pain point in organizations. Our research even shows it's about 2 hours and 26 minutes of waste per employee in an average organization. Oftentimes, as we narrow down what is drama, people are like, oh my gosh, that's our biggest issue here at our organization. And so the magic wand with what I'm gonna give you guys for responses in your interview today, you're gonna be kind of like introducing them to like what is their pain point in their organization, and you're gonna be like answering the questions based on this new knowledge you have. It's just kind of like mind-blowing. The one disclaimer with this advice is you have to believe the mindset in which I tell you guys these answers. You have to believe in it. You can't just say it and then your actions don't play out like that if you do get the job or if you do start working there. So that's the one disclaimer. With that being said, let's jump right into it. So in this video, I'm not gonna get into like specific questions they might ask, but you'll kind of know the general place that they're going with the questions. But if they ask a question kind of around what is your biggest strength or something like that, I would recommend saying this. One of my biggest strengths is I'm actually someone that says yes early and often to the organization, and I buy in pretty early and start doing what I can to make it work. Even if I don't have all the information I need or haven't been consulted on why we're going that way, I'm usually one of the first people to jump in, start talking about how we could make this new change work or this new initiative work. And I'm a guy that says yes, not blindly, but I know that if I say yes and start talking about how to make it work, I can add a lot of value. And so a lot of people have let me know that that's one of my biggest strengths. Now, why is that an effective answer? One of the biggest issues in an organization is a lot of the people are not aligned to where the organization needs to go. They will only say yes as long as the organization meets all of these demands. Like, I will buy in as long as all the information's clear. I will buy in as long as I'm supported through everything. I will buy in as long as I have all the technology I need. There's all these conditions on buy-in. And so if you can say that you're an employee that says yes early and often, and you don't even need to be consulted on everything, or you don't even need to have all the information necessarily, you just start talking about how to make it work, they're gonna say, holy cow, that's a big issue we have where people resist all these decisions we make, this would be very valuable to add this person. And so you're kind of going backwards into an issue they might not even totally have realized that they have, and you're going in at organizational alignment, that you're someone that will align to the organization. It sounds simple, but it is super rare. Next one will be something around what's your biggest weakness, or where have you failed before, and how did you kind of like redeem yourself? And here I like to go into, you want to make it a positive, and I would answer it like this. I am one of those people that when the going gets tough and I'm challenged, I'm actually very persistent. And what I mean by that is I really buckle down and I power through and I get into my work and I really just try and muscle through and make it happen myself. And I think why that's a weakness is that I should be more resilient. I should look up and out to all of my contacts that I have, to everybody I know that also does what I do, to all the experts that I've met through networking. When I get stuck, instead of going down into my work, I should instead look up and out and really crowdsource for ideas and try and get other people that I know have overcame the same challenge involved. And so a thing that I constantly forget is I get persistent when I should look up and crowdsource and be more resilient when I'm stuck. Now, why is that a good answer? It's a double positive because they hear that you're persistent, so you're a hard worker, but then they also hear that you are very resilient in this new world where everything's connected, and you just showed that you have a big network and that you could reach out to 50 people to get ideas. And so it makes you look kind of doubly more able to overcome obstacles. And let's be real, in any workplace or in any job, this thing called reality is gonna come in and you're gonna have some obstacles to overcome. And so if you can have that big network and let them know that you have that big network to reach out to be able to overcome obstacles, you're gonna look like an amazing candidate. Now, another question that they always ask about in interviews or with organizations is, we undergo a lot of change. We're constantly involved in change. So what's your kind of mindset around change? Or how have you been good at change in the past? Or what do you think about change? Something like that. And this is a big one to answer. And it's big because every organization we talk to, every industry is going through tons of change. And I'm gonna give a reality check as well. They will continue to go through tons of change. It's just gonna become the way of it. And so in your interview, if you can kind of neutralize this whole idea of change, because there's this myth out there that change is hard, and our research shows that change is only hard for the unready. And so you want to make it seem like you are just ready for whatever's next. And so one thing I joked about in the interview is that I do this technique where I don't even say the word change, I just replace it with next. So when someone's like, there's too much change going on, if you say there's too much next going on, you sound kind of ridiculous. And so it's a way to get that negative connotation of change out of your vocabulary. Another thing to mention is something like, in my life, I've noticed that change isn't all that hard. It's when I resist change that things get hard. One thing I've found that's really effective is wherever I've worked or in any of my experiences, I kind of say yes to what's next. I see change as opportunity. It doesn't really scare me that much. I know that I will naturally resist change. It's part of my human condition, but I try and be one of the fastest ones to get into seeing that change as opportunity. And so when it comes to change, that's kind of my mindset on it. Now, why is that such a good answer? Organizations lose tremendous amounts of money when people resist change. It's a huge drag on the system. They're trying to buy people in and they're trying to do all they can to get people to be on board with a change. Then all of a sudden there's another change, and so they have to go through the whole process again. So if you can show that you're gonna be an employee that's constantly just envision and ready to go for it and say yes to what's next and be one of the people on the pilot group for a change, and you're gonna be really advocating for necessary changes in your job and in your industry, you're gonna look like a rock star to them. And so I would really focus on that answer as well, because it's gonna come up. All right, everybody, I know we only went through like 3 of those, but it's just this thought that I wanted to get out of my head. And I think it'll be super valuable to you to show that as you start thinking about where drama comes up in the organization, as you understand that, and we have tons of resources for you to discover where that comes from, and you start to understand that, you can kind of answer these questions in a way that would show that you are a low drama employee. Because what we know in our research is that the low drama employee of today is the high value player of tomorrow. And so as you can get fluent in ways to be drama free, it can really help you in the workplace, and especially when you're interviewing for that job that you always wanted. And so thank you guys so much for your time. I hope this was valuable. Please share it with anyone that is looking to get their first job, or they're interviewing for a job and they're nervous. It might give them some good ideas. Leave a comment below if you liked some of the answers, if it got you thinking. Let me know what other questions I could answer, or questions that you've heard in an interview that that got you stuck, and I'll try and answer those. And hit that like button if you liked it, and please subscribe to my channel. I got a ton of speaking vlogs going on. I got random thoughts like this that I'm gonna be having come out. Just anything and everything that I experienced that I think can help you be a much more drama-free and happy employee. And so thank you for joining me today. Let's keep ditching the drama.